Good evening, everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of the App Breakdown. Today it's episode 20. These are going by fast, and we're taking a look at Savee. Now, what is Savee, you might ask? You can think of Savee as basically a new age Pinterest, but built for creatives. So, designers, cinematographers, professional lighting people, basically anyone whose job is to be creative and to make things look good. This is who Savee is for. Now, I installed Savee some time ago, but I actually completely forgot that I had installed it because I use a competitor called Cosmos. I should actually do a video on them in the future. So this is actually going to be my first time ever opening the app. So let's go ahead and open it straight away. Incredible splash screen. Let's try to see that again. And it has little animation, little haptics on each of the S's. Boom. With speed, with taste. You get a taste on the background of what you're going to see, basically a grid of things. And you can tell when something is made for designers and not for the general public, when instead of a login and sign up button, you just have the logos of the forms of login. So let's tap Apple here. You can see my blurred email, continue. All right, straight away, they prompt for push notifications. I'm gonna allow. Okay, yes, you did it. Savee the platform for creative minds just like you. And we have a pretty basic carousel. Judging by the splash screen, I was expecting some more animations here, but I guess it's just very basic. Okay, if you see something you like, go to your feed. Okay, go to your grid, follow the best, become premium. Okay. This might also be a good time to say that Savee as an extension, they have an app, they have a Figma plugin, and I think they also have something else. So it's basically made to cover all the bases of the creative minds. So we clicked on continue, and straight away we're dropped in a gorgeous grid. It just looks phenomenal. And we have very little UI actually. So we have the nav bar that is translucent at the bottom. And other than that, we basically just have a grid of content. So let's scroll down here, see if some other content appears. These are the things that they would show you by default, because again, this is a fresh account. I have not given them any information about myself. And something that I noticed straight away is just that the app feels alive, simply because a lot of the content is animation and video. So it just shows the importance of these things. Okay, let's try tapping into the photo here on the top right. Okay, extremely simple transition, just comes from the right, no fuss. I wish it was a bit more elaborate, just like Pinterest. I should also do a video on Pinterest. Pinterest is one of the best apps on iOS in my opinion. All right, and we have the image. There's no title. There's really no information about it. And if you scroll, we can see images that are visually similar to the one above. So let's tap one of them. Again, no title, no nothing. But it has this weird space here. So it feels like there should be something there. But I'm talking about this like black space. It feels like there should be something there. Maybe I'm getting a bug. But we can only judge what we see. So let's see the options that we have here. We have here a few people, so 107 plus these two guys that I don't know who they are. I'm guessing these are the people who saved this image. Then we have save, we have a chevron down button, and we have a more button. Let's go through each of them. Let's first tap the people who saved it. We get a list. This style reminds me very much of Instagram, the older version of Instagram, not their newer, more playful version. And here we can go into profiles. Let's do that a bit later. So let's try saving the image here. I'm gonna hit save. Okay, nothing special, just turns to a secondary color. And the chevron button also just turns to a secondary color or secondary style. Nothing too fancy. Let's unsave. Yep, there are no other animations. We can see for some reason the image below like flashes a bit. Okay, let's hit the chevron. Here we can see my boards. Now off camera, I created a board here for the app breakdown. So let's tap and add this to the board. Little toast at the top telling us that it was saved to the board. Okay, and if we hit more, we can see what I'm assuming is the source. It just says Instagram.com, not very helpful. The color palette and the boards and share that you can add it to. Let's try tapping one of the colors on the color palette. Nice. So as I expected, basically it looks for other content with this color. And to me, this is a very, very good way to actually find things in the aesthetic that you're looking for. It's something that I do in Cosmos all the time, where if I'm working within a specific spectrum, I just look for the color, because I don't care if I'm looking at furniture or film or anything else. So let's browse here to this color. You can see a Dune poster, sneakers. This is what these apps are great for, because if you're looking for example, inspiration on how to use this shade of green or this shade of brown, all that you want is to see it in action. You don't care if it's sneakers or a film or architecture, you just really don't care. So let's tap into one of these, see if we have the same options. Yeah, we seem to have the same options. Let's try saving it to our board. And if we go into the app breakdown board, we can see the things that we have saved to it. Cool, let's go back to home. Let's try going on search, see what that does for us. So we can see the search for color is saved here. We're gonna hit cancel on that and cancel again for some reason. Okay, the app is a bit buggy. Not sure why. Open it back up, go for search. Okay, now we see what the actual empty state of the search looks like. So we have a color hex on the top right. Let's tap that. We can just choose a color to search from. This is pretty cool, actually. Let's see that later. We have a carousel of popular users, and then we have popular saves. And these are mostly the things that are on the homepage, which would make sense. They're just recommending you these things because a lot of people like them. Let's try the color hex. Go into a shade of red. This kind of search I absolutely love, because it's very useful for my day-to-day work, and I don't even do that much graphic design. Okay, let's hit cancel, come back up, and try going into one of the people. So let's go here into the first user, see what a profile looks like. So we can see the name, the @ their website, so a link, what they save, how many boards they have. And this here looks just like Pinterest. We have following and followers. And these are they're verified profiles. So you can go and see if you verified profiles. Okay, let's have a look if there's any peculiarity when you look at someone's board. So for example, let's look at this Acne Studios board by this user. And again, it's just a scroll. Can we zoom in and out? No. Okay. So what I tried to do just now was basically pinch on the screen, and it could have the same effect, for example, as Apple Photos does, where it shows you more photos or less photos depending on how you pinch. It would be cool here in this type of setup. All right, let's try clicking on the plus. We have upload, new board, and import from Pinterest. Okay, import from Pinterest is very cool. They know that the kind of user who download this already has a Pinterest account. And so they need to make it very easy to port content, because otherwise you've spent years scrolling on Pinterest. You've spent years building up value there. And now you can import it easily somewhere else. So basically, this lowers the cost of switching platforms by a lot, provided that it works. I don't actually know if it works properly. Let's click import. See what it says. Import your pins. Oh, so you actually just put a username and then they go ahead and they scrape it or something and they put it on your save account. Interesting. Not gonna do this now. We're gonna go into favorites. Oh, it's not favorites, it's notifications. So this is maybe more to represent like likes. There's no real empty state, just says no notifications. Not a great state. And let's go into my profile here to see what we have. It's funny how on these more visual apps, your profile looks very good from the moment you use the app for like 5 seconds, because you add a few things and all of a sudden you have an aesthetic profile. Something that, for example, on a social app is very hard to achieve, and you actually have to use the app a lot more to get this type of result. So there are actually not that many things to look into here. I like the simple design here, just using one type for everything, and chevrons. There are chevrons all over the place on this app. The content is really king. That's what you're here for. But I really wish they added their little flair with the animations and transitions within the app, which Pinterest does very well. Cosmos, I don't actually know how they do on mobile because I use them on web, but on web they do very well. And Save, like it has honestly not won my heart from this quick test, simply because these other options exist and that they fulfill my need. So I think today is going to be a short one. We have seen Save, we have seen how to make Content King and just make the entire app just grids of content. We have seen a quite sexy and subtle navbar. What else have we seen? We have seen user profiles that look good with just a few taps, and we have seen in general just a lack of fanciness. And actually that leads me into a little bit of a rant before closing out. There are a lot of apps where, so you see me talk a lot about transitions and animations and this type of thing. There are a lot of apps where these things just plainly don't matter. Like, they really don't matter. The average person does not care about whether your transition as an element that stays in place or not. But if you're doing an app for like creatives, for designers, for cinematographers, for these kinds of people, they are the ones who will actually be paying attention to it and that have their senses attuned to this kind of thing. Usually on like mass market apps, you do it to please the people with the keen eye, to show craft, to show that you care, to instill trust in the average person. But when you do something for designers or developers or whatever, it's kind of mandatory. Like it's almost like you're doing a security app or security software, and the software itself is not secure. It kind of loses trust. But yeah, that was my little rant on craft and where to actually put it. This has been Save, episode 20 of the app breakdown, and I'll see you on the next one.